Musically meditated. All right, welcome to Musically Meditated Podcast. I'm your host, Joe Riley. I have Sretton in the house. What's up, Sretton?
What's up, dude? Sretton.
We have a very special guest tonight. My homie Bret Too Short, a.k.a. Bret Short from the GG Stalin and the Absurdity Junkies podcast.
A.k.a. Bret Son of Denver is my call-out name.
How many Wu-Tang aliases do you have?
Not many, because of the name like Bret Short, it's going to come out really fucking fake.
I like Bret Too Short, but
Bret Too Short works. I was called Bret Tall all the time.
Bret Tall, right?
What's the story with the Bret Son of Denver?
Oh.
Is it a quick story, or is it?
Well, that's my dad's name.
Oh, okay.
His name is Denver Short.
Oh, it is?
Yes.
Right on.
Yeah, it's pretty intense, huh? That's a weird name. No, it's funny. I went to Denver, Colorado, and I went to Short Place. I'm like, hey, Denver Short, are you at your place? Well, I'm on Short Place at Denver, Colorado.
And your dad hung up on you?
Yes, absolutely. He's like,
find your own way home.
He's like,
find your own way home, Bret.
How about that, Bret? Okay, well, you have fun.
Fun, but Bret, plug away your podcast. How long have you guys been going at it? I know there's a couple other gentlemen with you. What's going on?
We're a comedy podcast. I try to be highfalutin about it, but no, we're just a comedy podcast. But we try and keep it. We're not shy from the serious to talk about serious subject matters because we do talk politics and pretty much everything else for the most part. No, everything's pretty much no limits. No limits, soldiers.
Hey, talking about lyrics, we'll get into that.
Oh, yeah, best lyrics ever.
I had the medallion in 9th grade, but go ahead.
Nice.
That's so amazing. Was it the gold tank or just like a P or something?
It was the gold tank, and it was the cheap version, so it just said no limit on top, but it didn't say records on the bottom.
Did it stain all your white shirts?
No, I still have it somewhere.
Oh,
I
yeah?
think. Yeah.
Good.
You wanted to bust that out?
Yeah, bust that out, bring it in here.
We'll hang it from
Hang it on the
from the
walls.
rafters.
Yeah.
We'll hang it from the rafters.
We have rafters here.
We do.
We do.
We do.
Yeah.
But back to your podcast, Bret.
Back to my podcast.
Back to your podcast.
Yeah. Where was I at? So yeah,
You said it was comedy. What else?
comedy.
Else
Yeah, we're a comedy podcast, and we started. That's what it was. That's what it's like. Because we're a comedy podcast, we started on April 1st, of course. And it was a special April 1st, if you remember, because it was Easter on April 1st. So I actually jumped the gun. We didn't even have things really set up. We didn't have my art in yet or anything like that. I'm like, no, we got to start April 1st, Easter. That's hilarious.
Who did the art, by the way, for you guys?
My friend out in New York. Shout out to Dylan Vaughn.
I like it.
Yeah.
It's pretty risque.
A little bit. It's a little
lot of
we're probably going to tone it down for the Green Door Network with their newspaper publications and such.
Yeah. Little risque.
It's yeah.
So I asked you guys a couple weeks ago. I'm like, what's that? Is that remote control going in that dude's ass?
I was wondering that.
Or coming out of his ass?
I was wondering that last night.
It's all interpretation, right? Which is our theme for the day.
It is.
Lyrics.
Lyrically open for interpretation. But who are the other two gentlemen on your podcast?
We have Dijon, Mr. David Jonathan Metcalf. Like I said before, he's basically a anthropomorphized Wikipedia search engine come to life.
Really?
Yeah.
He's like a computer.
Straight up. Oh, a very whacked out computer, but he's a computer. He's so random.
I enjoy how he's really good at articulating things.
Oh, absolutely. That's what's crazy.
I got that.
He's the most articulate random person I think I've ever met.
Yeah.
Right
Very impressive, dude.
Yeah, very impressive. And he tries to deny, he tries to tone it down, and I just got a little intel. Here I am already talking shit about my own podcast on another podcast.
Way to plug it,
bro.
bro.
Get away from those two and talk shit about them. Right. But no, I know a friend who's from who went to high school with John, and she would say people would try and trivia him and try and stump him back in high school because he would just be on the internet all the time, just absorbing facts, which is so gotcha, John. But and then we have. So if this is enough already, then we have the over the top, Mr. Edward Deviney from Parts Unknown, because
From Parts
if you ever want, I'm sure Joe's knows that term. I'm sure if you ever want to know what Parts Unknown looks like, just go to Ed's house.
I want to do a podcast at Ed's house. Would he be open for that?
Probably, yeah. He's got to clean up a few. He's got to clean up a few porn bins.
A few puddles. That's terrible.
Oh,
no.
I'm glad you took it too far than I did. I figured I was making it.
No disrespect, Ed. No disrespect.
Oh no.
He's a
Ed,
super nice
motherfucker
guy.
alive.
Yeah.
So
nice.
yeah, and I was going to ask Joe as a connoisseur of sound, if you will, and like that's a unique sound, that boy's voice. Am I right? Like
it caught my attention immediately.
Right? Like I've never heard that sound before. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's
It's such a unique cadence.
Yeah, a very unique cadence indeed. Yeah, I was like, what the hell? Like who? And then I was like, oh, that's Ed, because I met him a few times, you know, but it was the first time I listened to your podcast was last night.
It really comes down to the podcast.
Yeah, and he shines. All you guys shine. It's a really good trifecta.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
I really enjoyed it. You know, the music talk too. It was a lot of Chocolate Thunder. And what episode was that? Like episode 11?
Yeah, episode 14, I want to say,
14?
actually, maybe 12.
Something like that. Yeah.
Something like that. I should probably know.
I should probably know now.
Yeah, that's how we are here too.
Yeah, GG Stalin just, I mean, as of a month ago, you're part of the Green Door Network team.
Absolutely.
So yeah,
Love
that's
to hear.
also, that's how
Yeah.
we met, and that's how we're, you know.
Yeah, these guys are great. Like, I remember my partners were so reluctant about it and just went over immediately. Like, as soon as we got in here, like, oh, this is fucking great.
Yeah, it's cool.
This is home.
Yeah, it's
This
So
is
you're,
home.
so you're on all the platforms. Just for the listener, where can they find you?
Yeah,
right
we're
quick?
working on it. I mean, mainly SoundCloud and iTunes, but we need to get on YouTube, Google Play, all that fun stuff.
That's on me. I dropped the ball.
That's okay. We dropped the ball like 3 months before
Crack
that,
the
so it's
whip.
fine.
Oops.
All right.
So, but we're going strong, going at it. So,
Good.
by all means, check us out. GG Stalin and Absurdity Junkies.
Cool. Well, we brought you in today to talk about music, obviously, but more importantly, lyrics
Absolutely.
and how they influence us. And I thought that was a great idea. This was your idea, so I give you mad props.
Yeah. I had to come in because Joe's got home court advantage here, so I'm trying to get any advantage I can take because I don't want to. I'm going to be overwhelmed talking to Joe about anything else. Being a fan of his podcast and
Thank
keep
you.
listening to this shit. Yeah, especially like I would be totally scared to talk rap with Joe. It was like, dude, listen to this hip hop. It was like hardcore history for hip hop, wasn't it, Stratton?
Yeah. Got to get into it.
Got to get into that.
I love it.
Yeah,
So I appreciate it so much.
Yeah,
so
thank you.
I can't wait to get some recommendations.
Yeah, but well, that's what we're going to do today. We're going to talk
Absolutely.
about lyrics, how they influence us, who are our favorite lyricists, maybe how they changed our life, and what type of lyrics we actually like.
And even better, I can't wait to get into like what songs confuse the shit out of us, and I like to get back and forth on each other's interpretation on that. So
Perfect.
should be a fun episode.
It should be. So let's do this.
Absolutely.
I'd like to start with, like, as a child, you know, childhood lyrical experiences, what caught my attention and why. So first thing, you know, I grew up with a lot of classic rock. My mom liked a lot of Motown,
Of course.
you know, so those were my earlier influences. So heavy metal and Motown. But I remember when I started to purchase my own CDs, a lot of it was hip hop, and hip hop has had a huge influence on me, but especially with the lyrical content.
Yeah.
And of course, it starts with like NWA and Eazy-E. You know, like you could actually hear what they're saying, but they were very, very good at storytelling. But when I really wanted to figure out the lyrics and what the hell are they saying, it started with Bone Thugs and Harmony.
Okay, yeah, I got those suckers. They talk fast, so you need that lyric
Fast.
sheet.
You need that lyric sheet, and that East 1999 Eternal album. Like eventually, we'll have a happy birthday episode for that because it had a huge impact on me in my childhood. I remember when that came out, I was in 6th grade, and I've mentioned this before on another episode, but I remember my mom got it for me, and people would want to hang out with me just because I had that album. You know, like, oh, you have that? Like, yeah, like, let's hang out. Like, okay, cool. But I remember it was so influential. Like, it was a different rap style, you know, and especially the fact that they were from the Midwest. So we would break out the CD book, you know, the jewel case, and follow the lyrics. So I really remember diving into lyrical content because of Bone Thugs and Harmony and with their fast approach to the lyrics. Stratton, how about you, childhood-wise?
So I the first American album that I looked at the lyrics was Ice-T Original Gangster.
Nice.
And I unfolded
Welcome
that.
to America.
So you would think that, So you would think that based on that, like
From
that,
Serbia to Ice-T, I love the transition.
the funny thing is, even now, like even if you speak Serbian and you listen to Serbian music, you know the lyrics. The difference is like the way that music is delivered in English. You need the lyric sheets half the time because if it's rock, every rock vocalist is like they butcher, they sing it, like they're doing it. You don't know what are these guys saying, so you need it. In Serbian, it was all pretty clear. I love you, baby. You broke my heart. Kiss my ass.
Always
like all this
romantic
stuff.
and kind of passive aggressive.
Unlike
Serbians are known for passive aggression. Joe, you
Did I hit the nail?
No,
on the
no,
head there? Oh, sorry.
But I remember also, it was Ice-T, and I remember going to Serbia when I was younger, and we had some cousins that were into huge into Soundgarden and Nirvana and all that, and they were asking me like, hey, English is your first language, and he just played one of the songs and was like, what's he saying? Can you translate? I go, I can't because I don't understand what he's saying. He's like, what do you mean? Don't you speak English? I'm like, I do, but I don't know what he's saying. He's like, he's singing it and twisting it. So yeah, that's a secondary story, but hip hop was my first. And it was specifically Ice-T, who I was obsessed with for about 2.5, 3 years.
I still like Ice-T.
Oh, I still like him.
Forever.
I'm
Forever
less
Ice-T.
obsessed.
Less obsessed.
Talk about the real street guy.
Yeah.
Holy
6 in the morning. That was like the track, man.
Dude, going over, I knew some of I knew Dre was raised, well and stuff like that. Like he wasn't from the streets or anything like that. But I didn't know all of them were for the most part, except for was MC Ren Street or
yeah,
was he...
MC Ren and Easy talking about NWA. They were both Kelly Park Crips. Actually.
Oh shit.
Yeah, they're from Kelly Park.
Oh, they're
section.
straight Crips then.
Southeast. Yeah, Southeast.
But you were saying even Eazy-E actually started out with a pretty good home and his parents were still together.
He had a very good background. Yeah, his parents were
but he's still
together. But he dipped his toes into the street life, so to speak.
and it was completely absorbed like Venom symbiote.
I believe Easy was friends with Ren's brother.
Oh, okay.
Because Ren's a little bit younger than he.
Okay.
But at any
All
rate,
born on the same goddamn day. That's so weird.
Right? Oh yeah.
I blew my friend's mind tone. Regurgitating your information. I told him, he was like, wait, what?
Yeah, all that weird Gemini connection. But Bret, how about yourself? Early childhood.
Yeah. So I have.
So we have two hip hop things here. So what do you got?
Yeah, nowhere near that. I was such a.
Don't talk about ABBA right now.
No, I'm not that bad, but close. Yeah, I have it because I was pretty much a little wiener kid most of my days, even into high school. Not till and then even in high school, I just got the new metal, in 17, 18. But for most of the time, super, super lame. But
at least you admit it. What were you listening to in middle school? Backstreet Boys or what?
This is a typical starter kit. But no. I mean, starting out so I just realized I got my first subconscious memory of lyrics and my first conscious memory of lyrics, which I already told you about. But really quick, my subconscious, probably as early I can go to is fucking Michael Jackson with Omasay Namasa Mamatusa Namasay Namasa Mamatusa. Still have no idea what the fuck
that mean.
Good question. I was just gonna ask that. But I remember just saying that constantly, coming home from school, all hyped up. I'm home from school, and I was I'm saying, and I thought I just made it up,
just like an ADD kid, just bouncing off the wall.
Exactly, it's bouncing off this doing, and I was I didn't even know where I got it from, not realize absorbed it from the radio or whatever, and it wasn't until much later because I had this big dry spell with Michael Jackson for a long time. Sorry, Michael. And
love you, Mike, for sure.
Forever. And I got back, and then when I got back to him, holy shit, I did make that up. I wasn't some weird ass crazy kid. I actually got that from Michael. Yeah. So and then my first conscious. Diving into it was from my cousin Diane. We went to visit her somewhere, and she just gave me Led Zeppelin 4, and all the you just had the one lyrics for the song, and it was the first time I ever heard the song, and I was just like, whoa, that was my first pure perspective into a song. No influences from anything else. It's just a self-discovery. Memorize the whole lyrics. drove my parents nuts just singing it while on the headphones on the whole ride there.
You didn't even let them share in the
Shut
music.
up, Bret!
I remember taking off my headphones like, oh, God, you're done. Like, oh, you're so loud. And I'm like 10 years old, 8, 9, 10 years old. And I remember being like the only kid at Lake Street Elementary School when in the 4th grade going to see Jimmy Page and Robert Plant, the No Quarter Tour, right?
Wow.
Yeah, I was there.
That was your first concert?
Yeah, first big concert. Technically first like live music was good old Weird Al Yankovic, baby.
Oh, cool.
yeah.
Man, you got some street cred there. so
watch out.
So Weird Al to
Jimmy Page, Robert Plant.
Wow.
Which that was the first time. Could you imagine the first time hearing Dazed and Confused? You see it live. Yeah, I had I wasn't that deep. I was 10, so I wasn't that deep into Zeppelin, and I heard Dazed and Confused I'm like, I don't even know what is happening. I just see a bunch of old people, and I'm smelling crusty weed. And I'm just like, this sounds fucking amazing. Especially when they're doing it. Yeah.
Yeah. Who was playing bass? Do you remember? Like, did you ever look that up? Was it John Paul Jones?
Good question. It might have been John Paul, but I remember it was his son from Foreigner, Jason Bonham. Played the drums. I do remember that. He played the drums for them for that show. I don't know if it was still John Paul. I don't think it was John Paul because I think they would have mentioned John Paul because it was just a big Page Plant thing. So
well, I like how you mentioned Nirvana because obviously before
I did mention Nirvana.
Yeah,
I did.
You? Oh, you did.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's okay. That's okay.
Stratton mentioned Nirvana
Because I'm cool.
You are cool.
And I'm not, because I didn't get into Nirvana until my 20s, so that's how much I suck. That's what I'm talking about. Lame kid.
Okay.
Which, thank you, my cousin Josh, for saving me, but go ahead.
Yeah, Kurt was the first guy I remember as a kid, like watching the videos and shit. Like, what is he talking about? So I remember opening those jewel cases as well, like with Justin Wallace from Juice Pro Wrestling. Shout out. You know, Justin was obsessed.
Sure.
And Kurt's lyrics basically they didn't make any sense. Like, what is he up to?
Right. I think he went for more like what sounds good rather than like trying to get out a message. But he would have he did snarky and sarcastic really well, obviously. And that's when like I think he had like his lyrics become sharp and not so interpretive and like, you know, really like one of my favorite songs, Nirvana songs, is Radio from the Unit Shifter. Yes. Like that's there's that. I don't think it's up to open to too much interpretation there. Like he clearly had a message there, like "fuck you, music industry."
Is that what it was? I don't remember.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm trying to think. I gotta remember how it goes.
It's all good, but but like Kurt was the first guy that you could tell like just took random shit out of his poetry book. And made it lyrics, which is really genius because I'm, the older that I get, like I like lyricists that do that. Like it's a blank canvas.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they're just throwing random shit at it, like random paint. And
Jackson Pollock in that shit.
Right. They're just coming up with their art that way. And that was the first time that, I was exposed to that. And that's a really young age. I mean, think about it. I mean, I was probably like 10. 9 years old, so shout out to Kurt Cobain because like hip hop had like I really wanted to look into seeing what they were saying, but then you open up a Nirvana album or a CD, a CD case, it's like what is he talking about?
Right. That was it was definitely pop heroin lyrics. Folks, like he picked up where David Byrne left off on Talking Heads because his lyrics are plenty heroin the fuck out.
Was he heroined out?
Oh, sure.
Oh, really?
Yeah, or at least something or other. Like
Talking Heads were super awesome. Like,
oh yeah,
mixing so many different types of musical genres.
Yeah. He, man, you're gonna get me to talk shit.
Go ahead.
Because I'm guessing at least David Byrne, especially for the time, late 70s, early 80s, was on a shit ton of Quaaludes.
Cool.
I'm guessing.
I've always wanted to try a Quaalude after that one movie.
Yeah, Wolf of Wall Street.
Wolf of Wall Street.
So that made you want to?
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to be able to get out of my car. It's gonna be real. What's that all about?
I just watched on YouTube. My YouTube algorithm is so jacked right now because I'm just trying to take in all this weird information. And I saw that scene where he gets out of the car and his buddy starts choking to death, and he has to hit him. What did he hit himself with adrenaline or something?
Yeah.
And then he like finally, what did he do? He like Hulk ripped his shirt. I don't even remember, but when he saved his life, he was like. Like, yeah, he was just celebrating it out, and It was a cool scene, but I hated that movie. Ooh, I hated that movie.
Love that movie. Man.
I also was it called
I
Fear
believe
and
this
Loathing.
was a music podcast, a movie podcast.
Yeah, sorry.
Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas was the same thing. Like they were like struggling the whole time to function as humans, but there's people out there. One of them is me, where I'm like, maybe I'd try it once. Go somewhere where the carpeting scares the shit out of you. Sorry, but
No, it's
we
all
were
good.
actually talking about Nirvana.
We were talking about Nirvana.
Dipped into Talking Heads.
Well, yeah, Talking Heads they'll do that to you. You know, you start talking Heads. And
Yeah, they're all
start
over the
talking Heads.
But no, I was gonna say like because of them, because I tried to, I've completely missed the train on. Man, I'm here. Like I've been anticipating it. I'm worried. I'm gonna shit the bed and ruin it. But I'm not
There's
a
no
big,
shitting the bed. I'm really good at editing. Go ahead and shit the
Well,
bed.
if this gets ugly, be sure to edit. But like I'm not a big Clash guy at all.
Okay.
And I think in like getting back, like the more and more, like I kept trying to go back to them. I know how influential and how like one of the most loved bands ever, right? And like, and when I went back to it, especially after listening to Talking Heads, I'm just like, this is just Talking Heads with not as good singing,
Right.
you know, because they do have a lot of reggae breakdowns and
Reggae
stuff like
and
that.
like Afro beat and
Yeah.
just all kinds.
Talking
of
Heads already did all that shit like 6 years earlier.
Good point. That's a good point.
You know,
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but like,
Yeah, that's a great point.
no.
Yeah, Talking Heads are the shit.
Yeah.
But let's
Yeah.
transition into like what are you looking for? Like what are you looking into
Right.
lyrical wise? Like what are you looking for when you're breaking down lyrics? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah. Well, I was gonna say really quick with Kurt, like off of one of his bigger songs. Speaking of In Utero, like I really like, but he may not have had a precise message, but he was really good at the color of language and showing contrast and stuff like that. And he was really like that. Cut myself on angel hair and baby's breath.
Yeah.
Like that's, you know, like he's so sensitive, he feels so weak right now that like you could easily just with the softest of thing would just, you know,
Destroy him.
exactly. So, you know,
Kurt.
stuff like that.
That's a really good lyric.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's-
And I think a lot of people overlook it because of like the whole song before that, and it's such like, you know, it's like a soft moment in the song, and it's such a big song, you know,
Yeah.
which I mean, it's kind of funny. Like In Utero is such you want to call. I mean, it feels like a sophomore album, even though it technically isn't. But like,
It
how
is,
much?
though, in a way, like a big production sophomore album.
Yeah, but it's not though because like the production's so much slicker on
Steve Albini, man. That's
yeah.
why.
Yeah,
They recorded
yeah.
that in Chicago.
Like you got to give them props for In Utero. I'm sorry, not Nirvana needs more dick riding, but like they're just like they went heavier, you know. Like I mean, to do fucking Smells Like Teen Spirit, and then in your next album you're gonna have a fucking song like Tourette's. That's badass. Like,
Tourette's is a great song. It's one of my favorites.
talk about open to interpretation, huh, boys?
Yeah, right. What is that song about? But once again, like, what are you looking
what
for?
I'm looking for.
What are you looking for when you know, with lyrics?
Yeah. I obviously like as I wanted to bring that up because I'm still on point here of like I love the colorful, I like the play of color and stuff like that. And with lyrics, probably like my favorite thing to do in lyrics, I like a good puzzle. You know, I'm not a big open interpretation guy. Don't get me wrong. I appreciate that stuff, but that's not my go-to. You know, like I'll appreciate shit out of it. And I've been wowed by songs that are like, you know, what do you think about this? What's this open? What do you want to put on this canvas? Basically, I call them like reflecting pool songs. Like you know, it's going to reflect what you have inside you, basically, right? But I like a puzzle song where, you know, it'll throw what will seem like a bunch of random nouns and stuff that doesn't make sense, but then you put a few thoughts into it and it unlocks it. You know what I mean? And like I was going to mention the song Avalanche by Leonard Cohen. So start off, you know, you're starting strong with Leonard Cohen.
Let's go with little LC. Little LC.
Canada proud, baby.
Yeah, man. Leonard Cohen's he's my guy.
Oh yeah. You can't fuck with Leonard.
He's that dude.
Yeah, especially those first 3 albums. I mean, and what a soldier! Like way into his 70s, just doing 3-hour shows. Like what a badass.
For sure.
Let me get the Avalanche lyrics up here. Sorry, I probably should have did that.
My favorite lyrics from him is "Give me crack and anal sex."
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, that's
Seriously?
Leonard Cohen. Yeah,
What?
It's from
what song is that?
it's from the Natural Born Killers soundtrack.
Perfect. that's
My grandma was a huge Leonard Cohen fan, and like she would always bump that album. I forget which one it is, but like he's wearing like a fedora and like a top hat and a suit on the cover. But we were like eating dinner, and that part came up. This is coming from my grandma, you know. Like, my grandma just gave me that look, like, you know. Like, yeah, give me cracking anal sex. It's my favorite lyric by that homie.
I don't know.
Well, way to overshadow Avalanche here.
Sorry, not trying to, you know.
No. That's amazing.
Take your wind out of your sails.
Well, this is the song that got me on the Leonard Cohen. Like, I heard about him for a while. I have friends that are super, super fans.
Are you gonna sing it for us?
Probably not. No. Trenton's like, I've been in that singing. You don't want that. I'm not gonna chin sing it, Trenton. All right.
If you want, go ahead and sing it. I just want to hear the lyrics. So sing them clearly.
No, I'm not going to sing it because I want to get to the heart of the matter here, the actual meaning. Maybe you'll get some songs out of me. There's going to be a few songs that's going to be hard for me not to sing, just so you're warned. So he's like, I stepped into an avalanche. It covered up my soul. When I'm not this hunchback that you see, I sleep beneath the golden hill. You wish to conquer pain. You must learn to serve me well. So it's like, what the fuck is he talking about, right?
He's a dominant man.
Yes.
Sounds like it.
So all the way, he seems like he's doing this perspective from a hunchback. But you strike my side by accident as you go down for your gold. The cripple here that you clothe and feed is neither starved nor cold. Yeah, it's plot thickens. He does not ask for your company, not at the center of the world. Boy, I'm not on a pedestal, you do not raise me there. Your laws do not compel me to kneel grotesque and bare. I myself am the pedestal for this ugly hump at which you stare. Yeah, damn. So to give it a little more clue to this is off the album Songs of Love and Hate. It's the first song, and I'm not doing it justice because it does have a beautiful guitar melody, and that's what first got me onto it. It matches that dark tone of these lyrics.
Okay.
You know, it's a really pretty soft melody. And
so yeah, we're both a fan of dark lyrics. That always,
yes, absolutely.
Dark lyrics always capture my attention for sure.
So it goes from this hunchback and it gets more and more abstract. And then you realize this hunchback is the personification of hate, at least from what I've seen. I think that's a way to go about it, right? And he's personifying all of this. And that's what I mean by, like, you think of the word hate, you put it in there, and then it plugs in and opens up the puzzle, and then you get it.
Nice.
Yeah. So,
little Leonard Cohen there.
Little Leonard Cohen. Yeah, he's a beast. He's a beast.
Simple-minded mofos.
If you want like a little more not so highfalutin Leonard Cohen, one of my favorite songs ever. Like, I think it's gonna, like, When You Die, I think this is like the if there's
Damn, Bret.
I know we're getting
dark with some LC.
Well, actually, no. This is positive. If like like When You Die, if you go to like a waiting room into the afterlife, if you will, I feel like they'll be playing the song Passing Through. I don't know if you've heard that song. Oh man, it's off his live album. I think he only did the song live. He might not even have wrote it. I'm pretty sure he wrote it though. But if you listen to the song Passing Through, you get that's like instant Leonard Cohen magic. Nothing that takes like deep thought or anything like that. It is just really, really intense song. I got to give a shout out to Spencer Hearing for posting it on YouTube and exposing me to it.
Leonard passed away how long ago? A couple years ago?
2016.
Okay. I'm trying to remember the album that I'm the most familiar with. It was off the Natural Born Killers. Like, he had 2 tracks on that soundtrack.
Right.
But I'm trying to remember the name.
Late Leonard Cohen.
Yeah, that is late. But I'm trying to remember the name of it. I'm going to look it up real quick. But he is a forever just badass lyricist. But his voice, he had that grumbly, nasty tone.
Right. It still sounds better than Bob Dylan.
Yeah, but that ain't hard to do.
No, it's not hard to do. Not hard to do at all.
I'm not the biggest Zimmerman fan. Isn't that his real name?
Yeah, Robert Zimmerman.
Robert Zimmerman. Yeah, he's not. He's a classic. I respect him, but I don't really go back and revisit. I mean, he's an amazing songwriter.
Sure.
His voice, to me, isn't the best, but he's one of the best lyricists probably ever. So I'm not trying to be disrespectful.
Right, but he's not your bag.
I don't really.
I'm the same way. He's not a part of me, if you will. Like, he's not in the heart, if you will. But like, there's definitely some songs where I'm like, God damn.
Are you a fan, Stretton?
Bob Dylan?
Yeah.
For the same reasons. I will revisit him occasionally because I'm so casual about all the music I listen to. I go back to listen to it because I get more connected to it every time I listen. Like, it means more to me every time I listen to a Bob Dylan song, depending on what it is.
Little fact check: the Leonard Cohen album I'm talking about that I own, it's Leonard Cohen The Future. It came out in '92. So that doesn't have him on the front with like a fedora, but I used to have that one too. Like, he was like in a suit. But yeah, Leonard Cohen, the future.
Yeah, his first three albums are a must because you have Songs of Love and Hate. My favorite album of his, actually, like to listen all the way through, because Songs of Love and Hate, it's a hard sit and listen, because he goes really up and down. He's got a few anger songs on there that are a little startling.
Okay.
But Songs from a Room is fantastic. That's my favorite album of his. Live Songs is really good, and yeah.
Cool, man. Cool.
Yeah.
But back, like I asked you, what are you looking for with lyrical content? I'm always looking for, I guess, like a heartbreak vibe.
Sure.
You know, there's something about lyrics, like when I'm really searching for it, or however it comes through the speaker, like I can tell that this guy or this woman's, like, their heart is broken. You know, like I'm attracted to that for whatever reason.
Sure.
And we talked before this too. Sretton, you brought up a good point earlier. There's certain like rock albums, like you don't know what they're saying, right?
Right.
So you really have to dig into the jewel case. I don't know if all the kids know what that is anymore, but you know,
I still got mine.
You still got your jewel cases?
Not using it, but I still got it.
We still have them. It's taking up space, those CD cases. But at any rate, you have to bring it out because you really don't know what they're saying.
Right.
And it wouldn't be a musically meditated podcast episode if I didn't bring this group up. But Deftones, Around the Fur, one of the most influential albums in my entire life. Mascara.
Amazing.
But we talked about that before. But it's Deftones Mascara. And here's the thing with that album, like that particular record or that song. Like the first time I listened to it when I was so young, like I could tell like he was struggling with a woman. And like I relate that back to when I was like 15 or 16 with like my first love, right? Like and struggling with a particular female at the time. But now, even though like now I'm 35, I get it when I read the lyrics.
Oh, of course.
And I think that's what makes music so powerful. Like you can relate to it. You know, I was able to relate to that when I was 15, and I totally get it when I'm 35. And
right. Especially if you've been in a long-term relationship.
Yeah, long-term relationships.
Which is that song's all about that.
Yeah, it is, and it's all about like just being away for a long time, and it's really about like being in love with all of her particular flaws. But then you know
that like I think he's trying to like redo the spark again, if you will.
Yeah,
like he still loves her, but like he wants it back to that beginning, and he's like it's almost like you have to keep trying to date the same person over and over again, because
he's stating,
change over time.
Yeah, he's stating all of her flaws, but then he knows he has his own. But at the very end, he's like, it doesn't matter because you're married to me anyway. So
right, yeah,
we're just going to do this forever. But here's the lyrics for that. For Deftones Mascara, it's I feel soon I will sink into you. What do you think? So obviously that's a reference to sex, right? I mean,
gotta sink in.
Gotta sink right in. And then it goes in, because there's still blood in your hair. You got the bruise of the year, but there's something about her long shady eyes. I'm all about her shade tonight.
Okay, that's the one that kind of confuses me on that one. But that's like, what the fuck is he talking about? Like
that's some random Chino shit. Sure. Blood in your hair. There was just maybe, who knows, like something he was really attracted to that was disgusting.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah. Or it could be like, I'm guessing he's not confessing to beating her up or anything.
There you go, though. Yeah.
You think, or he could say like, hopefully in Chino's, he's expressing he has been damaging her emotionally. So
there
like,
you go.
She emotionally has a black eye. She emotionally has this blood in the hair because they've been going at it.
She's got the bruise of the year, you know, like
right.
She's dealing with him now.
Right.
He's the asshole. He's the animal.
Right. He must have said something really bad to give her that bruise of the year.
Bruise of the year and the blood in her hair. There's all kinds of.
Ugly.
It got really ugly.
This is awesome.
But I like that. But there's something about her long, shady eyes. So he's discussing all their problems and what he hates about her, and then what she hates about him. But there's something about her long, shady eyes that he's in love with, and it'll never change.
Right.
You know. So I think that's really, really powerful.
Absolutely.
And this song too, it's very simplistic.
Absolutely.
You know, like.
But that's where you can make it.
The Deftones are pretty simple, but you know, this is a very, very basic beat.
Yeah.
Basically, it's just it's simple, but I love it.
Tone and soft. Yeah.
Yep.
It's probably definitely the easiest, softest song to date at this point till they got in the later years.
Yeah. But just, I don't know, just a simple structure. You got your chorus, and you know what I'm saying. Like,
which good luck covering this song, because his voice is very like almost
eerie.
It's eerie. It's like kind of off, sort of like in a good way. Like it's almost just like inflecting the. I don't know. It's really weird.
It's very, and we'll get into this too. Like it's very Morrissey like. It's very Smith's like. Like he's wearing his new wave influences on his sleeve, and I didn't know what the hell that was back in, like '97 and shit.
Right.
But to go back to that, back to the song. I hate your tattoos. You have weak wrists, but I'll keep you.
Oh, that fucking line's so good.
It's so good. It's so good. So he's just, he's still putting out there what he hates about her, but he's still in love and he's going to keep her.
I love the sound more because I'm trying to think what would weak wrist mean and what he means by that exactly. That's kind of an interesting line.
That is an interesting line. Sretton, what do you think that means? I think it's literal. Like I think like she's weak.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I know. See, that makes the best lyrics. Like you can tell this is like something that's very personal.
Yeah.
But you can reflect on it however you want to, or however
it might
you
be literal because that seems like that last like the when you argue and you kind of like what, I think we're okay. I think we've moved past it. But then you go ahead and give that one last jab.
Yeah,
that's what it's like. Almost like and you have also you have bad breath, but I still love you.
But I still love you.
I'm gonna go basic as fuck here, and like maybe it's literal with the other thing because he says I hate your tattoo, so maybe he's talking about a tattoo on her wrist, and he's like your wrist is too weak for that tattoo.
Yeah, or that means like she's kind of a whore because all whores have wrist tattoos. I'm just joking.
I believe that's what the tramp stamp was for, Joe.
Maybe that was the tramp stamp in '97, bro. But at any rate, we'll finish though. But at the end, it's all about her shady eyes, and then he goes, "Well, it's too bad. It's too bad you're married to me." So it's very self-indulgent.
Yeah. He's like,
I love it.
Yeah. He's like, I'm accepting you now. It's too bad I'm married to you.
I watched an interview about this.
Interesting.
And it was right when the album came out, and Chino said that he was married and he'd like to separate his home life with his touring life. And he went on a ride with his wife at the time, and he played this entire album for him, or for her. And she had no expression. She didn't say shit, nothing. And he's like, just that right there. He's like, a majority of this album was how frustrated I was with her in my situation on touring, and then she has nothing to say, no expression whatsoever. He's like, I just wanted to write a whole nother album. So,
wow. That was his wife?
That was his wife at the time.
Man, I like to meet her. She seems like an intense lady.
They're not married anymore.
Well, yeah. Oh, I know. I obviously know that. That's what what the self-titled album's for, right?
Right. Yeah. That was kind of the breakup one. Yeah. So I like to break down albums that way and lyrics that way, and it's just, to me personally, what the hell did I know about relationships at 16? But I can get it now,
right?
So
yeah. So of course, but we can't talk about Around the Fur without the deepest lyric dive, which is Head Up.
We'll just pass on that. That was a good shit song.
I love it. Like Joe's talking about his favorite album ever, and he's just like, "Oh shit, this song."
Oh, I know. That song,
little dated.
It's so bad. I hate when they play it live now.
They still do it.
They still do it sometimes.
That's courage.
Wallace and I, like, we had a band. We played Battle of the Bands in high school. That was our cover. Yeah. Thanks, Bret, for ruining my really deep moment with Mascara.
Joe's like, you don't have to listen. Joe's like, you don't have to listen to all of my episodes. So you don't want those deep dives.
No deep dives. How about another one though, Bret? With what you're looking for, what you got?
Really, I have to bring up my favorite singer-songwriter of all time. My favorite. He's not the best, but he's just oh god, man, I love this man. And I'd be really impressed if you knew this guy, and it'd be really weird if you didn't know Townes Van Zandt, but you knew this guy. You'd be the only person in the world.
You told me about
him,
so.
Townes Van Zandt. We'll get to him later, but this is my homeboy, thanks to Nate Sexton, who introduced me to Jackson C. Frank. I don't know if you're familiar with him at all. He had one album in 67, 68, and talk about dark. This poor guy. So he was in the same scene. Do you remember when Simon and Garfunkel were in
Garfunkel?
Garfunkel.
Go ahead. But yeah, Simon.
Yeah, when they were in England. Okay, it was that scene that they were doing in England before they got big. Jackson C. Frank was leading that scene. Like he was the guy everybody looked up to. Like right off the bat, his life. I just read this recently. I didn't know. I knew he had something bad happen in his childhood. I didn't realize he was in a school fire where most of his classmates were killed, and he survived with a bunch of burn wounds and he was in recovery for a long time. And that's when he learned to play guitar.
Wow.
Yeah. And so this guy's already, he's got an easy dark place to go to for his writing, and he has this really awesome haunting voice, and you could definitely tell and in fact they were so impressed with him, and everybody adored him so much on this album to give him cred. Paul Simon produced it and did guitar on it. Okay, unfortunately for Jackson C. Frank, then he was married with a kid. Kid got leukemia, died. Then his wife.
Damn,
left.
Bret.
I know. Sorry.
Fuck, this is a buzzkill episode. No, go ahead.
Go on, Bret. Oh.
Yeah, this is a dark song. Go ahead.
Sorry, and oddly enough, I'm not singing a dark song. I'm not going to bring up a dark song of his, not first. And I just had to give him proper introduction, and then Jackson. And then what happened then? And then his wife leaves him. He's in and out of mental institutions for decades. But what's really neat is on this album, they've added a bunch of underground stuff that he did later, because he still wrote music this whole time. But obviously he was like a mess, so nobody could sign him or anything. The poor guy. And he made some of in these like underground tracks where like he's because a super fan went and found him in the 90s, and like he was living in Woodstock of all places, and they found him and like, wow, you got all these songs, we need to record these, we need this for the world. So God bless that fan, whoever that was. And he's made some of my favorite songs ever off this, and even though his voice is shot, and he was like 300 pounds overweight at this point, poor Jackson, just to add to the misery, sorry, but like he was walking on the street one day and some fucking random kid shot him in the eye with a BB gun. He lost his eye.
It's the worst story.
Just to explain to you why you haven't heard of this guy, why he like kind of disappeared in history. I know. So anyway, but he wrote this, but he's still writing this absolutely beautiful music. I'm going to bring up another one of his songs later if that's okay. But this song, a puzzle song, if you will, and I'll shut up about fucking puzzle songs. But I just had to bring it up because my one cousin, who's like a very literal guy, and when I brought this up to him, like I was playing the song, and one of those verses came up where he's like, sunlight dances slowly on a drum beat spoken mind. I speak in answers only to see them in my mind. And he goes, if I had a penny, I'd throw it in the sea to see if it would float away or grow a penny tree. And my cousin's like, that doesn't make any sense. This shit's fucking gobbledygook. This is so stupid. But the key word is, and a lot of times with all these puzzles, you got to go on to focus, okay, why a penny though? All right. And he's talking about penny for your thoughts, like a thought for a penny. And when he's talking about thoughts. That was a metaphor for a thought. And so he throws in the sea, as in the sea of your conscious mind, and then to see if it will just, like, the thought will just go away, it will grow back into an idea and to a system of thought,
right,
and grow to a penny tree.
Oh,
That's
deep.
That is deep. That's very deep.
I'd be dead.
So
I'm still pissed he got shot in the eye with a BB gun.
No fucking kids, right? And then he died like
The kid yelled out, looks like you're having an easy day.
Are you 300 pounds, heifer? And then just shoots him.
like it's so.
What if that was his one good day? He was like, he's eating
like,
ice cream.
Things are looking up, and then
I think things are going to turn around starting today.
Right.
He's eating a Whopper, dipping it in ranch sauce.
Having a good time.
Not caring about shit. But damn,
poor Jackson. Yeah.
So he's not alive anymore?
No, he died soon after. I think they recorded his later song.
It's the most depressing.
I know.
He died before the recording. Sorry.
No, after, but like he died soon after in like 96 and 97.
Okay.
I'm just sure nobody fucking paid attention. He didn't get famous, or he didn't start getting around to like the internet like 20 years later.
Wow.
I know.
a
So
sad
God bless the
story.
internet. I know. He has.
Talk about dark lyrics.
Yeah. Oh, he's got the dark lyrics. You get him. Well, speaking of, he's got a song called "Child Fixin' to Die."
Jesus. Is this what you're listening to when you're driving?
Yeah, I was like, "Are you okay, Brett? Are you?" I sleep to this goddamn music every night. I probably should not do that anymore. No, he's got some light stuff.
Joe, it's your turn, and I'm hoping you're gonna do
Yeah,
like
yeah,
NSYNC or like
No one's saying.
No one's saying.
I'm gonna do
something happier.
Converge. I'm gonna do Converge.
Oh, okay, there we go.
And I'm keeping it real, but dark. The song is Broken Vow.
We're in the void. Let's just
We're in the
swim it.
void. We're just gonna keep this as depressing as possible for everyone. Whatnot. Hey, we like dark lyrics. That's what we're talking about. So it is what it is. But yeah, Converge. It's from the Jane Doe album. It's been a huge influence on my entire life. Painted on my wall. You all have heard the story and seen the pictures probably on social media or whatever. But Broken Vow. Everybody knows what that means. But here's the lyrics. Those nights we had and the trust we lost, the sleep that fled me and the heart I lost, it all reminds me just how callous and heartless the true cowards are. And I write this for the loveless and for the risk we take. I'll take my love to the grave. As tired and worn as it is, I'll take my love to the grave. And that line, I'll take my love to the grave, is just like, that's some shit. Like
That's
some
a misfit shit right
that's
there.
that's like some basic like tattoo on my chest shit. But I love it because I'll take.
a good way to say it.
You could tell like he's heartbroken, but then he kind of wants to kill her.
And also,
Seriously. Seriously, I'll take my love to the grave. Like,
although you
how-
could,
go ahead.
Sorry, you could take that though as like, even though you broke my heart, I'm still like appreciate the love we have though, and I'm glad it happened. So I'm taking
That's
that
a
love.
good way to look at it.
You know,
yeah.
I'm not gonna. Even though you've like ruined me, I'm not gonna forget that love because it made my life worth living to a point. And then like, so I'm gonna take that to the grave regardless. Like, you can't take that. You've left me, but you can't take that away from me.
Right. We've got this forever. But when they do perform this song and throughout the years, whenever they play this live, that particular chorus is like a breakdown and it's like a build up.
Yeah.
And then it's just, I'll take my love to the grave. You know, like, but he's screaming, but everybody goes ape shit. And there's some cool like old YouTube footage where there's been fights on stage. You know, like people just totally wilding out, but there's something about that particular song and especially Jane Doe, but I just love that lyric. I'll take my love to the grave. You can interpret it any way you want, but I love it.
And I know I was getting a little highfalutin with the lyrics here, but don't get me wrong, I love me a good blunt lyric. And like it's a risk because when you obviously you've seen people when they try and get blunt and it's just embarrassing. But if you can do it right and you can say the right thing
and not make it cheesy,
exactly. You
Jake,
walk in a fine line there, but if you nail it, man, you fucking nail it.
Jacob Bannon is one of those. You know, he's all he does is scream for Converge, but when you really break down all of his lyrics, they're very powerful. Like you said, like. He doesn't cross the line into the cheese factor. Like it's always very personal for me at least, you know.
Sure.
In particular, Jane Doe, like particularly Jane Doe. That album, you could tell it's Jane Doe. It's a woman that's lost, you know, that's lost his heart. Like everything about it, I've always just really
and that's
hold
what's
it
cool
close to
about
my
lyrics and song, and that's why you got to separate them from poetry and prose, is because like
good point.
Yeah, because like the song and the inflection. Because I guess I'm not a big fan. Not that I'm saying like I haven't delved deep, but like Touche Amore's like that, right?
Love Touche.
Which I mean, like you said, that's he'll say some basic shit. You know, he'll just talk about the rain coming down and stuff like that.
Yeah, and
but
it's
like
kind of cringeworthy.
But yeah, if you just like read the lyrics, but like the way he performs it though, right? He sells it, right? Basically, like it works for him.
Yeah, Jeremy. Yeah, he's cool. The bright. What's some of the lyrics? I can't think right now, but like I remember when I first started listening to Touche, I was like, oh, a little cringeworthy, like a little over the top, but
right.
It does make sense.
But it works because he's being honest about it, right? Basically, it's like
extremely honest.
Yeah. If it was fake, if he was just making some pop song, it sounds awful.
But Jacob does a great job, like you said, like more prose. It's like a poetry prose that he's dealing out. But yeah, I love that song, Broken Vow.
I can't wait to listen to that album. I've been trying to figure out a way to delve into Converge because I know a lot of people like them. So
another quick one. It's a heartbreak album, Pig Destroyer.
Magic word.
We've talked about Pig Destroyer before, but it's the song Starbelly off of Prowler in the Yard.
Sure.
And one of my favorite lines ever is, I've heard people say that beauty is in the details, but I don't think they've ever seen you. I think that's amazing. I just
oh man,
it's just it's awesome. Like I just love that line. I remember breaking this album down too when I was younger. Like we would have to print it out from the internet, like on the printer, like just read it word for word. And like this dude was going through like an extreme heartbreak, and it was a cool thing to see within the realms of grindcore,
right? Getting
in
deep.
death metal. Like this dude's like he's basically a poet. So I love that line from Starbelly.
Absolutely. I was gonna say one of my favorite Pig Destroyer lyrics is off next album, Thumbsucker. It's got some really awesome lyrics to it.
I don't remember that.
Thumbsucker is that one where it's just doom 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 doom, and then it just does a grind at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I like this lyric too from Starbelly. Today I witnessed a crucifixion in pink, lavender, and gold. It's just crazy.
Dude, the end of Thumbsucker though is so punish me for weakness, blame me for everything. I don't like the suffering. I like the sympathy it brings.
Rejection fetish. It's so great.
I think that's from like I think he's accusing the woman that he broke up with here, because he's saying like you're not it's like you're not actually suffering. You're just liking the attention. You're liking the sympathy it brings.
Right.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. He's got some lyrics.
Yeah.
And I have to say, one of the best song titles ever off the next album, fucking Thought Crime Spree. That's so simple and good. I fucking love that.
He has the best.
Yeah.
But after that on Starbelly too, I've heard people say that beauty's in the details, but I don't think they've ever seen you. He goes into they were mortal wounds inflicted on the sky and an incriminating blue stains on my shirt, the shirt you bought for me. Christ, it hurts. Like stars in my belly going supernova.
Whoa.
Listen, I feel like a zombie that refuses to live. I love that. I can relate to that. Like
it's almost like a zombie eating itself then. That's the kind of image it gets in my head.
I feel like a zombie that refuses to live. Haunting the junkyards and cutting myself on scraps of you.
Yeah.
This is a breakup track. He's taking it hard.
Yeah. He showed I was at that one show where he showed a short film of like a guy like outside his ex-lover's house or whatever, and he's just losing his mind. He's like in a car. I don't know if you saw that short film.
Yeah.
Super intense.
Right.
Another creepy song by Baltimore Strangler off Book Burner. Woo, those are some creepy lyrics.
Creepy lyrics. And
I wanna hold you like an anaconda at the end. That's a good yell. That's a good yell phrase there.
Remember the vomit of your, how's that go? The vomit on your lips tastes like the sex of a twin sister. Yeah, those some JR lyrics.
We went from dark to just utterly grotesque.
Yeah, that's how we roll around here. But you got anything else, Bret? Like any other dark
I got
lyrics?
plenty. Well, real quick, you got to give me your Andrew Jackson Jihad. I told him to listen to the song "Bad Bad Things." What's your take?
Andrew Jackson Jihad reminds me of
Mountain Goat.
No, I'm not gonna. It's like ADD folk rock that forgot its ADD medication.
That's a very good. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but the lyrical
content
content
other songs
was cool, but it was like, whoa, like this is all over the place.
Really?
Yeah. For me, like I'm not a very big folk dude, but that was like very hype. Like, it was like a hyper pitch.
Oh yeah,
like a hyper vibe.
Oh, you're talking about like the tones and stuff.
The tones, but the lyrics were
very direct.
Yeah, direct, very direct. Yeah. Black and white, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, what we're talking about is this in this song, like. I won't go through all of it. We already been dark enough. We basically talks about killing. It's from a perspective of a serial killer who's like killed his whole family, right? And he's on to his last victim. And in this, he has this moment where he sees in their eyes a reflection. He says, "A reflection of a coward you and I both hate very much." Which he's telling you hate this coward. I hate this coward. I hate myself too. He knows what he is, and because he says, "I see your reflection in those tiny mirrors." He's talking about the eyes. I see a reflection in your eyes, and then he talks about killing the person and then smashing those tiny mirrors inside your skull. Which is
those memories.
That's a pretty potent lyric. I think that's fair to say. Yeah. Smash those mirrors.
You guys are just staring at me while you read this stuff.
We're giving
what do you
that
think,
Stretton? Giving you that TV.
What do you think?
What do you think?
Little Stretton, no, the doors are all locked, and he's trapped in here with us.
You're trapped in here with me,
dude. I'm just gonna.
The creepiest episode ever.
Don't worry, Stretton's safe. If he would be my last victim of choice. He's a big dude. His friend's gonna
Might
fuck
take
me up.
two of us. Might take two big.
And I'm not a 2. We're at a 1.5 right now, Joe. I'm a thin dude.
Well, I was gonna balance out the tone by talking about the
Dave
soundtrack to
Matthews.
Mary Poppins.
Please
Little
do.
DMV
We need
here.
some.
Just a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down.
we need a lot of sugar here. Or a lot of spoonfuls of sugar. I don't know.
A lots. The group you just talked about, like, what's his name? The singer's name?
Sean and Ben are the 2 founders of Andrew Jackson Jihad. A lot of times he does. Most of the time you'd see them. They're like kind of a full band now. They've incorporated a lot of like full band stuff. But for most of their career though, it was just him on acoustic guitar and Ben would be on stand-up bass. So they're really neat to watch.
I think we kind of hit the baffling lyrics part. We just talked about a lot of baffling lyrics right there, didn't we? I mean, damn.
Well, we got to talk about your boys from Radiohead.
Okay.
Speaking of baffling lyrics.
Okay, go ahead.
Which we'll start off with the biggest song just to bring everybody. I have more deep cuts for Radiohead I'd like to get into.
Cool, yeah, let's do that.
So, and you inspired me here because when you're talking about that Radiohead episode, I love it when like his friend's like, "So what do you think those lyrics mean, Joe?" He's like, it's up to interpretation. I haven't got to dive that too much in the full moon pool. What the fuck is it?
Yeah, full moon. Yeah,
Is that
full
it?
moon pool? Yeah.
I really liked what I listened to so far, but it's like it's almost like instead of like an album be kind of thick for you to dive into, that album's almost like too light to dive into because it's so dreamy,
it's
so
dreamy
airy
and delicate.
Yeah,
for sure.
so I haven't absorbed it quite as much. However, I've absorbed plenty of their other albums, and we'll just start with right off the basic Karma Police.
Okay.
Which I was actually like looking at that. I was trying to look at the lyrics, trying to get it down, even though I know the song by heart pretty much for the most part. Everybody does. That was a big song. But like, because I think an overall theme, and especially his lyrics, a lot of the time that he keeps coming back to is sort of like us going from the industrial to the information age as humans and us adjusting to the computer
computers,
lives.
yeah.
Right. And it almost seems, so what do you even think the Karma Police are? I want to say it's sort of like represents his guilt of like he's this soft person or whatever. Like he doesn't.
Yeah, he's a pacifist.
He's a pacifist, but like he still has these judgments about people, and he's like it's so I think of like a karma thing, but he wants to police them in the ways of how they're being.
I think that's exactly what it is.
Right,
Like
right.
he's more of a pacifist. He's laid back, but he's still judgmental.
Right.
Is the best way to describe it.
Right, and then because he judges the 2 people here right off the bat, like he talks about the man that talks in math. He buzzes like a fridge. He's like a detuned radio. So I'm guessing he's talking about some like really computer nerd guy, some sort of like really spurgy, like on the autistic spectrum, maybe.
Not a lot of personality, but knows a lot of statistics.
Mm-hmm. Or then you could just talk about like a group of people, like a lot of office people that are tech, like a whole tech department, if you will, or something like that.
Yeah.
And then he talks about the girl with the Hitler hairdo. I always thought that's a weird lyric for the song as big as it was like one of the biggest pop songs of the 90s,
Yeah.
And that's
Little H-bomb.
especially in that it's like the softest pitch for a Hitler drop, like because he's talking about some girl's Hitler hairdo, which I don't know if that's literal or not. I don't know if you're supposed to take it like she has a fascist way about her, or she just has like a Hitler type hairdo, and it could be like, who knows? Like, because that's pretty much like the hipster hairstyle now. Like,
Yeah, maybe that was big in Britain.
yeah, like Britain's always ahead of us,
like
and maybe that's what people were.
97.
Yeah,
But more than likely, she probably was just like some lady on a power trip. Like on a
right.
Hitler
Yeah,
power
and I'm trying to
trip.
think. What
He didn't say Hitler mustache. That'd have been
It's hard to think of the other lyrics when you got goddamn Hitler hairdo. Like I'm trying to think what the other lyrics around that. Like arrest this girl.
You know what we call that when I go to the barbershop? I go, give me that alt-right, homie. Give me that.
Spencer. Give me that Richard Spencer.
I go, give me that. Yeah, give me that alt-right.
You've seen those
fade.
videos, right? Him getting punched.
Yeah, he's a dick. But we'll move on from that.
bad.
That was a lame joke on my side. But give me that
I
alt-right.
liked it. I don't think it was that
Sutton's
lame.
got that alt-right right now.
How dare you?
No, he doesn't. He doesn't have the little swoop there. He's all right. He's got spiked. He's got it gelled up. He's all right. You're all right, son.
But
I've been in the past. I combed my hair today, and I got hair comb shamed.
well, that's a plus.
I wore a suit a couple months ago at the bookstore, and I got suit shamed. What is this? I'm gonna start wearing T-shirts that I ripped the sleeves off myself.
Guns in the sun, homie.
Is it fair to say, not to get too big on myself, that we kind of unlocked the sun then? Because arrest this girl Hitler is making me feel ill, and we've crashed her party.
Yeah,
So,
I don't think he liked her.
yeah, whoever that was, that would be awesome.
Fair assumption.
The chick with the
And then
Hitler
he's like, "This is
haircut
what you
sucks.
get." And then he turns in this, and Mr. Soft singer, nasally guy, but I'm sure you're familiar. He talks a lot of shit in his songs, though, which is
Yeah, he
pretty
does.
funny. And then he goes, "This is what you get when you mess with us." And then he goes, and he's like, "I give it all I can. It's not enough." And then, but we're still on the payroll, which is, yeah,
That might have something to do with like the record industry.
yeah, true.
A little tongue in cheek there.
Yeah,
With that-
there you
with
go.
That, with that British humor.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying?
yeah. These are people who probably work at his record company,
Right, because
basically.
Pablo Honey sucked. Let's be real. And this was their second album, and it's like probably number 5 on my list of best rock albums of all.
I
freaking
love one of the acoustic covers of one of their songs off of Turn to Stone or something like that.
Okay.
That's a cool song off of Pablo Honey, the acoustic version.
Yeah.
They did later.
But you
yeah,
know what I'm saying? Like this is the
sure.
second drop. but It's the. I mean, people will.
Third drop. Ben's the first.
Oh, that's right. Thank you for correcting me. We need Brett. He's so happy. The Benz is the shit too, but yeah, it is their third.
Yeah.
Right on, but that's pretty big.
And then he goes into, and that's what I was thinking. Like it was sort of like him. It was sort of him fantasizing about his judgment and like actually doing something about these people he judged. You know, he imagines this karma police to arrest them and stuff like that. And then he has like the change of heart at the end. He's like, "Woo! For a minute there, I lost myself," and he sings that over and over again. And so
Tom York has that sarcastic Brit pop element about his lyrics, like my homie Morrissey. You know, like he's learned a lot from him.
sure.
I feel like.
Oh, of course.
And for like Americans like ourselves, like sometimes it's hard to really decipher those type of lyrics and that, you know, like that British humor or that
Right.
British sarcasm. But
Sure.
Tom York definitely has it.
Oh, of course. I was going to say, really, I wonder if you know this really quick. Speaking of Radiohead, like, do you know about the transition from the Benz to OK Computer? Where have you heard Johnny Greenwood talk about this? Because they refer to the Benz as like their last time they were like an actual band, like they played as a band, and you know, obviously with OK Computer they went more electronic, like more sample and stuff like that, and they were kind of like. And they kind of like dissipated their roles in the band. Like, you know, you're not the drummer anymore. You're not the guitar. We're just all just whatever instrument you want to play, whatever. And Johnny Greenwood said they did that though, because he's like, you can only rip off the Pixies so much.
All Kurt Cobain did was rip off
Oh, of
the
course.
Pixies too.
His ideal, right, was to be, I want his
a heavier Pixies.
or no, he said like my musical dream is to be in the best Pixies cover band. I think
There
is
you
what he
go.
said.
Is
Yep.
that what he said?
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm pretty
yeah,
sure.
God
that's him.
bless the Pixies.
Oh,
Shit,
absolutely,
man.
absolutely. Another one of those bands that Jimbo Kelly hates.
Really?
Yeah, it doesn't like the Pixies.
If you don't like the Pixies, I don't like you. How about that? Just
You're out of the
keep it
band,
real.
Jimbo.
You're out of the band. You're out of the band. But
Poor Jimbo. I love
really
Jimbo
cool
so
thing.
much.
We said this last episode for the live show review. I was able to see No Surprises by Radiohead, and
JW.
it was great. It was great. Mm-hmm. I love that song off of OK Computer. Like it was just it made my night.
Well,
So,
sorry, what song again?
No Surprises.
Oh, absolutely.
They
I love
played that.
Letdowns. Wonderful song. Absolutely.
I want to get into another song real quick though. Transition.
Go.
You said Radiohead. I want to do a little Cryptopsy.
Oh, I was wondering when you're dropping. Wondering when you're going to drop that ball.
I'm doing it right now. We did an episode 2 on this album, None So Vile. It's just a total episode on None So Vile. It's coming out.
It was funny you brought it up because my friend, like, I loved Cryptopsy, but my friend, he told me not too long ago, like a few months ago, he's like, yeah, did you know he's a fucking PhD in literature? And I was like, really? He's like, yeah, you need to look up those lyrics.
That's
And I was
Lord Worm, yeah.
Oh, Lord motherfucking Worm.
Lord Worm.
And sure enough, I looked it up and like immediately was like, okay, yeah, this guy's really fucking good.
So the song that I like is Slit Your Guts.
Okay, yeah.
And here's the line. I favor her, this pretty blade, so tall and fine. Hatred and violence are not our ways, but firm we are. Squirming is useless, so is the colon. Cry for me.
See that
Enough
he
for
gets
me.
he uses his PhD a little better than that. He's got some.
It's for your own good. You need guidance. I provide. What is your pleasure? This is mine. A welcome change.
He has this line that just it was so simple, but the way he worded it was so great. Where it's like he's talking about like actually it's not the birth cycle, it's the death cycle, basically, right? And he's talking about like I think he says the inverted mother's womb or something like that, and like going into the crypt is like your actual birth canal.
Wow. And Defenstration, that was like their first song off of what the hell was that first album called? I can't remember right now, but it's all about a child falling out of a window. It's terrible. Total buzzkill.
Buzz was killed about 45 minutes ago.
Yeah, we lost a lot. We forgot how to spell the word buzz at this point.
We're good.
Yeah. No. So Graves of the Fathers was the song.
Graves of the Fathers
was a song that really, really impressed me. And right off the bat, you got a metal guy talking about the sextons of the churchyard, which sextons are churchyard keepers, basically, have seen unblessed things. Ground no longer hallowed has sprouted new graves. And then he has this fucking line that I absolutely love. Adherence to the principle of man by woman born, anachronistic ritual soon to be obsolete. He's so good. Nature abhors a vacuum. The same is true to a tomb. It cannot be empty. A barren womb of plenty. See, that's what I'm saying. He's calling the tomb the womb. The tomb the womb. A vacant grave must be filled for this father's will. Material birth to be abjure. A mother's cunt is impure.
Lord Worm.
Lord Worm, everybody. Round of applause.
I'll never forget you.
I got it. He has another song.
God damn, he's the man.
Sorry, the lyric I was talking about, God, I love it. This is like my favorite. In the next song, Dead and Dripping. I'm seeing a theme here, Lord Worm.
God, I love that song.
Yeah. Dude, this lyric in it. Mad at thirst, they dry. That's so fucking good. Like, they're mad at thirst, they dry. To draw sustenance from a brutal mound. Necrophagus fails. Aridity ends lives. More wet corpses found.
Ooh. Hello, wet corpses.
Dude, he's getting colorful with the darkness. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, he's doing all colors, but it's super dark and dynamic. And just all, you gotta love the Lord Worm. Absolutely.
Gotta love the Lord Worm.
Gotta love him.
You guys do.
The Lord Dennis Rodman.
All right.
Because they call Dennis Rodman the Worm.
All right.
Now that's a lame joke, Joe.
It is. It is. I want to talk Morrissey, but we're not going to.
Aw.
Because I get a lot of shit.
Oh, please do. He's such a...
Well, he's the best songwriter of all time. How about that?
Oh, shit.
That's
Boom.
a bold statement.
Laying it down.
Just laying it down. So we'll just leave it at that. But we're going to transition into right now. I don't like what you like. And guess what, Bret?
Oh.
I don't like what you like. Why you like that new Pig Destroyer?
Oh, nice. Coming in hot.
You're coming in hot.
So I think I mentioned a little bit too. By all means, it's not like, oh, this is the best Pig Destroyer song, which I don't see why people feel from now. I don't think it's the worst Pig Destroyer song. You might think that. Do you think it's the worst Pig Destroyer song you ever heard? Because a bad Pig Destroyer song, in my opinion, is like Vespine of Geysers off Book Burner. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
To me,
bad.
it's a
It's pretty bad.
Okay, all right. So
I agree. Yeah, it's
yeah.
a shit song. Sorry,
You know,
Pig
it's
Destroyer,
them.
we love you, but it's shit.
And I agree. And you know, it's them dabbling with deathcore, basically, whatever metalcore, whatever the fuck you want to say. But I think I would have liked that song better, and I think it's worse because it doesn't have the production. Because clearly it has the new song has the more creative production.
And that's what I don't like about it, Bret Short.
Oh, which is weird because so you don't like the creative production. You want a more.
I just don't like crystal clean fucking production.
Well, then you hate Pig Destroyer then, unless you hated the transition in the first place. Oh shit! Oh, I got him on.
No,
See, that's where I'm like,
it's never been this crystal clean. Their production.
I don't know, man. Phantom Limb's pretty fucking crystal clean. Along with it's not
You
as
have a good point. You have a good point.
It's pretty crystal clean. It's not as bumping as this one. I think this one has like better, like it has louder bass and
Maybe
stuff like
the
that.
cheesiness of this though, like the video.
Oh, that's what I'll give you. No, I'll totally give you. I'll totally give you.
There's a lot of
especially
cheese here.
Yeah. No, the line.
There's a lot of cheese.
Speaking
Extra
of lyrics,
cheese.
speaking of lyrics, the line.
JR is struggling on this,
Yeah, I think he's trying to be blunt, like you said, but he's
and
failing.
the subject matter, in my opinion, is just cheesy too. What is it called? What's it called?
Army of Cops. Well, I mean, you can't. I mean,
I hate cops.
well, it's poignant for the day.
Right.
Well, motherfuckers touting Ice-T up in here, and we're gonna bitch about hating cops. He wrote "Cop Killer," motherfucker.
No, I know, but like, it's just kind of been done.
Well, I mean, Well, he's not hitting for new, but he's. I mean, if you haven't paid attention to news,
the
lately,
band's hitting for new, but he isn't lyrically. Like I'm talking, like we went back and talked about Starbelly and stuff, but these lyrics are weak, and the subject matter is weak, in my opinion.
Okay, I'll disagree with the subject matter is not weak in the ways of. I think there's plenty there to work with. Is my point. Don't get me wrong. You can fuck up the subject matter like he did, like you said. You're dealing with covered territory here, so you better not, you better come up with some creative lyrics here. And when you say get on your knees, when you say get on your knees, you want to, it's like, I mean, because he's setting up the S&M situation we have with cops, which is fine imagery. Like you're not the first to do it.
Whose mind is in the S&M when they deal with cops? Because it's not mine. Their mind.
Oh no! He's not saying individually, personally.
Oh, okay.
He's saying us as a society.
Okay.
There are dominatrixes basically.
Yeah. Right
like
on.
and the cops depend on that. So, the cops depend on that. And that's why the cop is telling you like get on your knees. You want to.
Okay.
All right. That's sort of the point there. However, but I agree. That's a fucking terrible line. Like, it doesn't work.
Bad. Man.
Yeah. Like, you could paint that. You're trying to paint that imagery. Do it better.
Like, I don't know. That's just my opinion. It's just not about cops. Everybody hates cops right now for whatever reason. I love cops, man. Seriously. Shout out to all the police officers out there. I love you. I do.
Apparently, you didn't take NWA to heart, but that's okay.
Took it with a grain of salt.
Take it with a grain of salt. Okay, the problem is with damn it, I don't want to get too political there. Fuck it.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say you don't have to hate cops individually. But like, there's a problem with the system, and regardless of the big problem with cops is the blue wall. You know what I'm talking about? Where like. Okay.
Oh, like the secrecy behind what you do.
Well, they protect the bad cops is the problem. And it's like you're an agency, you're not a gang, you're not dependent on loyalty like when somebody breaks the law. Case in point, that guy, that cop, that Chicago cop who like just almost beat that woman to death at the bar. You remember that footage?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. Like other cops came and tried to destroy that footage and they tried to cover it up. And that's what we mean by the blue wall.
Okay, yeah. I mean,
that's and that's what makes people not want to trust you guys. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, it's never been a secret. The police are the biggest gang of the world. They are.
Yeah,
they are. I mean,
yeah.
I went to school at Indiana University.
But they don't have
Northwest,
to be.
They don't have to be. But my professor that I had, rest in power to damn, what's his name now? I sound like an asshole. But he was a Gary detective forever, and that was always his first line. Like, the police will always win. We're the biggest gang in the world.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't fuck with the
It's the truth.
And and I think why I think the title Army of Cops is poignant though is because like the cops are getting more militarized, especially ICE. ICE is really bad. They're doing a lot of They're a modern day Gestapo for the most part. Not to get too heavy, or at least they're turning into that.
Yes, I agree.
All right, so and that's sort of like I'm not gonna diss him for coming up with the Army Cop song, and I do like, by all means shit on me for this, but I think they bring it home at the end of the song when he's like, when's it gonna stop, this army of cops or whatever. That kind of works for me, especially with the thunderous drums we're getting.
I'm just really not that resistant against cops, so I can't agree.
No, that's fine.
I can't relate. Like I don't have problems with the police. I love the police. I want them to have my back.
You got that beautiful white skin, Joe. That's why.
No, I don't know about that. I do what I'm told, I guess, to a certain degree. If I get pulled over, and we move on from there. But it was shout out to Gary Martin. He was my professor at Indiana University Northwest. Mm-hmm. He was a great guy. He worked for was it Dominguez? Mm-hmm. He worked for Dominguez, and he was super, super cool. He was a bike rider, and the irony behind this was he got ran over, unfortunately, when he was riding a bike for a fundraiser.
Oh.
But yeah, Gary Martin from Indiana University.
Talk about heartbreaking.
Northwest.
Good Lord.
Yeah, he was a great dude. He was a Gary detective for like years, but really good professor, really good person. So
yeah.
I try to look at like all the awesome people that I know that are police officers and, focus on that. I don't know any dickhead cops. I mean, I could turn on the TV and they'll tell me that, but I don't personally know a lot of asshole racist dickhead cops.
Yeah, I can talk plenty about that. And when I worked at Family Express, there was a really awesome guy named William. This really tall, big dude. Super nice, and like you could tell like he carried authority, but he didn't have to push it at all. Like people were going to listen to him. You could tell like he calms down situations. Love to talk to that guy. And he would tell me like, oh yeah, some of these cops I deal with, they're horrible. Like they're very scary. And like there's a lot of, shenanigans going on. Well, I mean, East Chicago certainly was telling us about that. But we're going way off.
Yeah.
But you know what
How about don't like what you like?
Yes.
What do you have?
Yes. I've actually been kind of dying to tell the story because this is the first time I actually blew up on somebody about music. I was at work, which is unfortunate. I lost my fucking temper at work.
That happens.
So this guy, and normally I'm not going to get mad at music, at your taste or anything like that. But this guy talks shit about other people's taste all the time. And he's like, oh, God, this song. And like, oh, you like that song? Blah, blah, blah. This dude I work with. And he's got long hair. He's got these tinted glasses. He's a big, like, fat upper area guy with, like, a hat. You already pictured him, right? Like, he came out of some comic book D&D store. And so I'm like, what do you like? He's like, well, I'm looking forward to this Metal Fest coming up. I'm like, yeah? He's like, yeah. I'm like, who's all going to be there? He's like, Slayer's going to be there. And I'm like, okay, yeah, Slayer. And, and then he goes, and Godsmack. I can't wait to see Godsmack. I'm like, fucking really, dude? You're gonna get on some Godsmack shit and you talk shit about other people's music?
Yeah, that's bad. Godsmack sucks.
Right.
And so does this guy.
So does this guy, right? And he was like, dude, what's the problem with Godsmack? And I was like, well, first off, if you're going to listen to Godsmack, just listen to fucking Creed and Pearl Jam. They're just a dumber version of them. And then he goes, oh, he's going to like, Pearl Jam, ew. And I'm like, and I'm not like on a Pearl Jam kick by any means like that. But like, and I think they're, whatever. And I'm like, but wait, you're into God? That's when I lost my shit. Like, you're into Godsmack, but you're going to talk shit about Pearl. Like, they're just Pearl Jam, but dumber. Like, it's like all you got to do to make Godsmack is you take the blues out of Pearl Jam, make them more metal, and start selling Harleys. That's fucking Godsmack.
I like how you brought up this guy. Like, he hates what other people like just for no in particular reason. Mm-hmm. And with don't like what you like, I want to focus on the group page on Facebook because there's a few people that post shit on there, but they're only looking for a reaction. And you know what? You could take that troll shit elsewhere. I don't like that shit.
What's the point? Yeah.
Look, what's the point? Like, we could all do that all the time.
There's many avenues of the internet for you to do that. Like, yeah, little group
but they're like that person all the time. They could come in the room.
Right.
They could show up at work in the break room.
Right.
They could buy Doritos and talk shit. Like they don't.
Right.
They're just assholes, and we're getting that a little bit, but it's open. So
it's to be expected.
If you want to do that,
internet.
go ahead and do that. But that's what he does. Like every time he posts something in there, he's posting something that's probably not going to be well received, and he's looking for a reaction. So
yeah.
I personally don't ever give this individual the reaction, but I hate that. Like
absolutely.
I hate people. Like I've never done this on the podcast. Like just talk about shit that I hate just to hate it. Like just to get a reaction. Like we dabbled a little bit.
Well, it's not worth it.
No.
Most of the time when we talk about or you talk about something that you don't like, it always ends up at the tail end with some positive spin because that's the whole point. Why would I talk to you all day long in your precious time about the shit that I don't like? Like I'm trying to. It takes me. Like you guys both know me now, but I'm always trying to talk about cool shit, positive stuff that we're going to be doing, fun stuff. I'm not talking about, hey, why don't we plan on having a really crappy day tomorrow, and this is how we're going to do it.
Right.
Keep that to yourself.
Yeah, so this is what this person does, and I don't like it. You can keep posting, but you will be ignored because I'm on to what you're doing.
Absolutely.
And I think everybody else is. It's just they're always throwing out this bone of like, hey, check this out, but this sucks about it. Like, hey, check this out, but
sorry.
I'm right here, Joe.
But
is that
you? But this particular coworker, sadly I don't think he's too nuanced enough to troll. I think he's just posturing, like I'm better than you, like that kind of thing.
Like their mother didn't show them a lot of attention when they were younger. Yeah, I know the type.
And
I wasn't looking at you like that on purpose, threatened. I don't take that the wrong way.
But no, he Yeah. And he'd be like, "Oh, what are you into, like ICP or something like that?" And I'm like, and it didn't he, of course,
You should have said yes. I know.
Oh, no, that's exactly what I did. I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'm down with Shaggy 2 Dope and Violent J. I'm down with the clown." He's like, "Oh yeah, I just totally missed my sarcasm." And then later on, when it was brought up again, thanks to the other coworker, because he was just loving it. Like people were just like, "Whoa, Bret, calm down, calm down." I'm like, this is fucking ridiculous. Fuck this guy. And I didn't say that at work, at least, but that was my attitude.
You shouldn't have said that here. We don't say the F word here. We try not to, but it's okay.
Yeah, we're taking away some of your bonus there, Bret. and then I go to, I'm like, "Look, let me break this down for you. If you go to the Hot Topic store, you're going to have ICP shirts right next to the Godsmack shirts. And Godsmack fans are just juggalos on Harleys. Sorry to break it to you."
That's what you get.
And this has a happy ending, though, because, oh, God, fucking Godsmack. I just can't stand it. Like, just looking at Sully just grosses me out.
Yeah, Godsmack sucks. Straight up, they're awful.
Thank you. And,
right. Yeah, they're awful.
Happy ending?
Happy ending. Thank you. Thanks to another shout out to the Juice Pro Wrestling podcast and Stretton's Opinions, because I brought up somehow Vader was brought up. I can't remember why.
Yeah, we had a Vader episode, but
this guy pissed me off because he's like, yeah, he could flip and shit. He's like, Vader couldn't flip. I'm like, bullshit, he can.
He was very athletic.
Such a like 450 pounds, and like showing the video, and he's like, he's being one of those like little contrarian cunts, you know what I mean? And he's just like, "Oh, is that? Let me see. Was that him? I'm like, "Yeah, it's fucking him." And then he's like, well, let me see it again. And I thought, like, and after I flipped on him again, I'm like, "Dude, are you fucking serious?" And he's like, no, I just want to see if that was Hulk Hogan. I'm like, because he's like, I want to see if he flipped on Hulk Hogan because I can't stand Hulk Hogan. And then thanks to Stretton, and I co-opted his opinion, and I'm like, oh yeah, because he can do 7 moves and 2 of those are taunts. He's like, yeah, you get it.
Ding ding.
Yeah. So
Zing,
Just to be clear, I did not say that. That was someone else that was on the wrestling thing.
okay.
I love Hulk Hogan.
Okay.
Oh, he's just clearing this up for the
Okay.
Just clearing it up.
for the JP dub. Everybody
Yeah,
check
that
out
is a
JP
discussion.
dub.
That is a
It was a
discussion
funny
we had. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a funny line.
Maybe I did say it. I don't know what I say. I'll fact check myself.
We talk a lot.
Absolutely,
I do.
absolutely.
All right.
Unfortunately.
All right, let's transition right now into the hate mail part of Musically Meditative Podcast.
Fun.
So I'm going to start it off. You can send your love or your hate, preferably your hate, I guess, because we get a lot of it at musicallymeditated@gmail.com. so
Bring it on, because they're ridiculous. So I like
They
this
are
whole like not
ridiculous.
I can't
serious
wait.
hate mail.
This is my first hate mail I've listened to.
All right, so here we go. Here's my first one that I got. Joe's not my favorite podcaster's favorite podcaster. He's more like Hobart's Indiana's golden boy.
Well, that's
kind of nice.
that's a compliment.
That's a shitty statement. But I thought it was mean. No?
Are you MC Golden Boy now? H Golden Boy?
I'm H.
Golden
I'm
Boy
H.
Hobart.
Guys. What do you got, Stretton? What do you got?
Letters?
Yeah.
I don't have any.
Oh, you didn't have any hate
Yeah, I don't
mail?
have any. Sorry.
Okay, I'll go to the next one. Musically Meditated, a.k.a. Musically Penetrating Hipsters' Bias Opinions, !
That's good.
Go hard or go home.
That's good.
Jeez.
Damn, penetrate those hipsters.
Musically
Jimbo Kelly
Meditated,
style.
Musically Penetrating Hipsters' Bias Opinions, go hard or go home. That's mean.
That
Actually,
sounds like
that
a,
might
that
be-
sounds like a Danzig fan.
Does it sound like a Danzig fan?
I don't know.
All right. Here's
Actually, that might have been a praise.
was that a praise? Was the Golden Boy one a praise too?
Yeah, like the guy hates
Am I just
hipsters and he's appreciating you penetrating the hipsters.
Yeah. We try.
We try.
We try to penetrate
All
hipsters.
people are welcome.
All
Yes.
people. All people.
All
even
people
hipsters,
are penetrated here.
Yes.
and all the Golden Boys.
Yeah. We definitely need an explicit E for this episode, by the way.
Here we go.
Maybe.
Here's another one.
No.
Joe would like Glassjaw because he's a whining little bitch
go.
like the singer of Glassjaw. What's wrong, Joe? Are your hemorrhoids flaring up?
Okay, that was no praise. That was definitely not a praise.
That was definitely
I don't
no
think that was a
compliment,
praise.
sir.
How do they know I have
I-
hemorrhoids? This is personal.
Are you sure that was? And I love it. And he's wearing the shirt, everybody. Just
Yeah, I am wearing a
enhance-
He is wearing a
Glassjaw
Glassjaw
It's a
t-shirt.
cool shirt. I mean, you don't even have to
Thanks.
like Glassjaw. It's a good shirt.
It's from 2003. I'm living back
Living
then.
life.
But yeah, I didn't know.
Here's the thing with that one. You have issue. You are aware of Glassjaw. You're aware of the band. Most people that are aware like it.
Yeah,
They don't take the energy to say that.
But
To talk about hemorrhoids and how much they hate
Glassjaw's the singer Daryl has what's that?
Hemorrhoids?
No, not hemorrhoids, but it's Crohn's disease.
Oh, okay.
So it's like a legitimate thing. Like he's missed tours. Weren't you telling me a story about that or no? Like your buddy went to go see Glassjaw.
Yeah. He said he had the flu though that day. And
He had the flu.
Sick. Yeah.
But yeah, he has like Crohn's and shit.
No shit.
So, yeah. Here we go. Here's another one.
There's more.
Yeah, there's more. There's two more.
There's two more.
I can't wait. That was a good one.
All right. Episode 50 of Musically Meditated Podcast is all about how Joe loves Morrissey. You heard it here first.
Okay.
All right. We'll take
Say
it.
that one again. Sorry, I like.
Episode 50 of Musically Meditated Podcast is all about Joe loving Morrissey. You heard it here first. It's like sarcasm. That's like sarcasm.
Yeah.
'cause I
You're
talk about
still
We'll
Morrissey.
show
talking about
him.
Morrissey
We'll
in
show
episode
him.
50.
Show him.
Yeah,
We have
we
other
will do
content
that.
besides Morrissey.
We will do that though. We'll get in depth.
We're gonna get you want it. Yeah, you want an in-depth fucking
Yeah.
episode.
We
of
might get a
Morrissey?
call from Morrissey
I might do
that-
like 3. I might actually get a Morrissey interview. How about that?
Part 1 of 17.
Right?
Just don't try to hit on him, right?
No,
He's asexual as fuck.
He is asexual. He's not into men or women.
Oh,
And here's the last one.
what a waste of looks. Sorry.
Nobody cares about Danzig. Next, please.
Oh.
Who wrote that?
I can't say
Because I have no memory of like
Dude.
10 days ago between the hours of
And
like
God
10
bless
and
your show.
10:05.
I just learned that from
Nobody
listening
cares about Danzig. Next, please. That's it.
Dude, write them back and be like, except for Roy Orbison and motherfucking
Right.
Johnny Cash, eat my ass. That's what you need to tell him. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
They sang his fucking songs. Shut up.
shut it up. You didn't have any hate mail though. Nothing.
No.
Anything
sorry.
positive?
No.
I can write you a hate mail right now.
Go ahead. Well, you know the email, so it's on you.
Here's my armada of cops, motherfucker.
yeah, right. Joe likes cops.
Yeah.
Cop sucking asshole.
NWA, each
Hence,
twice a tier.
therefore, vis-a-vis, Joe's an asshole.
Well, hey, everybody, thanks for listening to this episode. We'll see you next week. Bret, where are you guys at again? What's the name of the podcast?
Gigi Stalin and the Absurdity Junkies.
There we
And
go.
we forgot to talk about the best lyrics of all time is from Gigi Allen himself. Suck my ass, it smells. That's cool.
I like drink, fight, and fuck. Actually,
Is that a Blood Duster song?
no, that's a Gigi Allen song.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice,
they're
nice.
covering Gigi. Or Blood
know.
Dusters covering Gigi. Yeah,
That's
there
a
we
good
go.
way to close it out.
It is. Adios. I'm musically meditated.
That's right.
I'm musically meditated. That's right. I'm musically meditated.
I want to close it out with Godsmack. Can I do it? Can I do a few bars of Godsmack?
Sure, you're on mic.
You're on mic.
Love you, everybody.
Bye.